Hello, I'm Cheyenne Hyde.
And I'm Sam Johnston. Welcome to Stratazine, your source for authentic, curated content for digital and social media professionals.
On today's show, we'll take a look at AI and how it affects art and social media.
In our tips and tools segment, we'll get a hands-on demonstration of the latest AI tools for creating video content.
First, to our question of the day, what is the most used AI image generator of 2025? I asked students a couple questions to get their insights on the topic of AI art.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne Hyde at the Crossroads on campus, and I'm going to be asking students which of these two photos is AI, and I'm going to be asking them a follow-up question. All right, I'm here with
Caleb.
All right, Caleb. So I'm going to have you choose which of these two photos is AI.
One is AI. Let's say. This one.
Yeah, so what gave it away, do you think?
I don't know. I was looking at the old pictures, and this one kind of looked too clean to me, if that makes sense. Yeah, this one just seemed more authentic. So.
And also another little thing is that the arms are connected right there. I know it's a blurry picture, but so no, you're good. So what have you ever seen AI art before? Like, how did it make you feel when you saw it?
I feel like the first time I saw it, like, I felt a little uneasy, but it also kind of surprised me how much it's kind of been growing to kind of not be noticeable. So at first glance, it always just seems normal until you look deeper into it and see the flaws.
All right, thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, I'm here with
Joshua Scott.
Ray Level. All right, so I'm going to ask these two, which of these photos is AI? Okay, and so was there something that gave it away?
Personally, I just feel like this one's more grainy. It looks like an older photo, so it looks more realistic. That one feels like it's too smooth lined, whereas this one has a natural grain to it.
Do you have any thoughts on this?
I think this one might be the AI as well. I don't know much about old cameras, but I think it's interesting that there's that much detail in this old of a photo.
So there's one dead giveaway, and it's just the arm right there. It's kind of blended.
Oh,
yeah. But good job. So have you guys ever seen an AI photo before? Like, how did it make you feel?
I've seen a couple where they like first generated them, and usually it's like really inaccurate. You have to like prompt AI multiple times to get it. So it's just, I don't know. I haven't seen too many, but they're just interesting that it can recreate so much detail when it's not real.
Good answer.
I never put too much thought into the way it makes me feel. I think it's interesting the effect it can have on our perspective of what's real and not real. I think it's important to be cautious of anything we do see on the internet.
All right, thank you guys for your time. Hi, I'm here with
Bennett Miller, Tegan Hayes.
All right, so we are trying to talk about AI. So I'm going to show you guys these two photos, and if you'll tell me which one is either the real or the AI one.
I always think I'm good at it, but I'm not.
I can give you guys a hint if you're stuck. Look directly in the middle of either one. Yeah, so what gave it away?
Their arms are connected right there. Yeah.
Good job. So have you guys ever seen an AI photo before? Like, how did it make you feel?
I have seen an AI photo before. They're very off-putting.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just make me really uncomfortable. I don't appreciate that. It's just weird. Yeah.
All right, well, that was it. So thank you guys for your time. All right, so based on those results, we were able to find that most people weren't able to identify it right away, but we also found that it kind of made people uncomfortable and they had more of a negative view on what AI art did. I'm Cheyenne Hyde.
It seems that most people agree that AI has had a negative impact on them nowadays.
Adriana Marquez has been researching all about AI and the risks of plagiarism.
Hello, everyone. So let's think about it. I believe everyone at one point has used a form of AI generated tool, whether it be in your apps that you use, your social media, TikTok, Instagram, you name it, or whatever other program that you may use. But the real question comes to this. Where do we draw the line of plagiarism? In recent years, there have been a rise in ethical concerns about AI-generated images. Not only are artists concerned about AI stealing their artwork, but other questions arise like who owns the rights behind these work of art? Is it the artist? Is it you who created it, or the company that developed the software? It's a difficult question, especially when AI closely resembles existing work. Intellectual property law still has many gray areas, and many countries are starting to implement regulations. For instance, the famous animated film studio Ghibli is considering legal action against OpenAI. OpenAI, extremely popular AI chatbot tool, ChatGPT, caught a huge wave this week when untold numbers of users started using it to generate images evoking the style animated legend Hayao Miyazaki's work at Studio Ghibli. Numerous ethical questions and challenges arise from unclear and inconsistent rules. Artists should strive to respect intellectual property laws and avoid misusing or copyright original work. Now try considering this while you're using AI-generated tools. How do we respect the original artist's rights?
Now that we know a bit more about AI, let's chat with an expert on the impact of AI in the workplace and in creative spaces.
Recently, I spoke with Andra Hansen, a professor in the communications department and a communications professional, to get her expertise on the impacts of artificial intelligence. All right, welcome to Stratazine. I'm here with Andra Hansen, who is one of our professors here in the communications department. Andra also works in consulting for communication, training, and strategy, and runs educational groups for incarcerated men. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about AI in the professional and creative spaces. Okay. All right. So our first question is, how have you seen AI be used either by your colleagues or by students that you have?
Yeah, I think AI is at an interesting place, and the way we intersect with it will matter very much for the future. So I think on the end of like colleagues or in the workplace, I see it quite a bit in the consulting work I do, where professionals are using it in the workplace. It's generally used to create efficiencies. They have a complex task. They can feed data or information into AI, or they can use AI to quickly access ideas in the industry or whatever. And it doesn't really replace the thought work that they have to do, but it hastens it. I have seen it on the student level, and I think this would be any level. I'm just around students a lot, so I get to observe it that way. I've seen it on that level, sometimes replacing the skill acquisition. Like, since AI can write a paper for you, then I can go in and edit it. It's sort of replacing the skill acquisition, which would be a disadvantage, I think, to the user of AI. I have a guy that I know that does a lot of, he's like a groundskeeper, and he does various things for a large land holding company. And he uses AI all the time to solve problems, and it will create sketches for him of how to build this deck or different things that they want done that serves him well. And he's in the profession he intends to stay in. And so that's an asset to him. And I can see it that way. I think we're at a kind of a tipping point difference where AI can really help a lot, but that help is going to mean there's other labor that doesn't need to be hired, and there's going to be an impact on that. And then within a creative space, there's huge concern about things that would have been copyrighted, things that would have been created by an individual, author or artist or whatever. Those simulations and the ability to replace the individual thinker and creator is of deep concern within that industry, and I share that concern.
I think with both of those, like those opportunities for help and also those concerns for taking up different work, what do you kind of imagine the next few years changing because of AI?
Well, I think that I was just reading an article on LinkedIn, or it was an editorial in the New York Times written by a LinkedIn associate. And he was talking about the tremendous impact that AI is having on entry-level jobs. So from my primary role, which is the educator, I love this job. I think our students are facing a very different landscape as they approach the workforce than students were even 5 years ago. And pre-COVID, dramatically different than it is now. So I think that it's our job to think about where AI fits and not create an over-reliance on AI, not replace our own capacity with AI, but at the same time it's here. And so ignoring it or just saying AI is bad or don't use AI, I think that's a sort of futile effort. So I think there's a lot of consideration about how to help people get out in front of it so that they still have a strategic perspective or some kind of capacity that AI is serving rather than replacing themselves with AI. And that as an entry level, like the article I was reading was talking about the bottom rung of the career ladder is breaking. And that would be the entry level positions where people gain orientation to the industry and they start to, get to know how that works. That part is the part that's disappearing. So there's going to be a gap, right, between the person in college or the person who chooses not to go to college and then wanting to get into that industry. And I think there's a lot of creative thinking and strategic thinking needed in that spot from, say, the university perspective or the perspective of the professor. The creative stuff, I think, remains to be seen. That's just tricky. That's going to be a bit terrifying. On one side, though, I will just say there was legislation that is being discussed. I believe that President Trump just signed an order pertaining to this. I need to better educate myself. I just saw it in the news, but it was putting a strict restriction, say, on pornography that is AI generated, even images that are AI generated that may involve minors. Those have been a very murky, disturbing, but very murky area, but extending the concern to whether it's a real person or an AI generated person, if it concerns violence or force or coercion, that can be complained about in polls. I need to educate myself more, but I'm grateful to see that AI isn't slipping through cracks where there's strong social concerns.
Right. All right. Thank you so much for your input and for your time in the interview today. For Strategy, I'm Sam Johnston.
And I'm Andra. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. In a new advancement in AI technology in people's hand, TikTok is introducing a feature to turn your photos into short-form video content.
This new feature is designed to help users animate their images and create special effects. Bobby Saley has been researching the new feature and tells us what he's discovered.
Welcome to the News Industry Update. Today in the spotlight, AI generative video. You might be surprised to hear that TikTok is including AI video with its latest feature, AI Live. Launched on May 14th, AI Live empowers users to transform static photos into dynamic videos directly within TikTok stories. By leveraging artificial intelligence, this tool animates images, adding movements and atmospheric effects, even background noises to your still photos in your stories. It adds more cinematic and realistic elements to those photos. Accessing AI Live is straightforward. First, open the story camera, select a photo, and tap the AI Alive icon on the editing toolbar. The feature is designed for all users, regardless of editing experience, to create engaging short-form videos effortlessly. AI Live is now available in US, Canada, and Australia. And this marks an incredible step for AI advancement, furthering the commodification of AI generative tools. As we see with TikTok, these tools are becoming more and more accessible to everyday people. It's only a matter of time until AI video generation is a tool available to every person across the world. So who knows what humans and AI will generate next. For Strategy News Update, I'm Bobby Seeley.
Our tips and tools for this week is directly related to our topic of discussion. Shane O'Reilly is going to teach you how to use AI to make the best resume you can.
How's it going, guys? This is Shane with your tips and tricks for this week. As we started to talk about AI, it became apparent that there's some AI use that is simply not appropriate or dishonest. So I wanted to show something that we can all use to help us throughout our lives, and that is a AI resume generator. Super simple, super easy, and I know it has helped me. I laid out a small dummy one for everyone to see just kind of the process in which they do it. You put your contact in, you put your experience in, with the small details, education, whether it's BYUI or any other schools, if you've completed your education, or if you're currently a student, some skills. You could put your experience and level of expertise in certain skills, and also add as many as you want. You can also, going back to experience, you can also add work experience. You don't just have to put one job. And then summary, kind of summing up yourself and making yourself appealing to your employer. And then finally, you add any other accomplishments or certificates you've achieved, and then you're able to download it. And it'll show, this is obviously super basic template with nothing on it because I didn't put much, but there's so many other templates you can choose from and ways to edit. But in the end, it really is a very useful and simple way of doing AI. So those are your tips and tricks for today. Thank you guys, and have a great day.
Back to our question of the day. What is the most used AI generator of 2025?
According to tech news source Buffer.com and PC Mag, the most used tools for AI image generation is Adobe Firefly and Midjourney. The service is one of the early pioneers of AI, and has kept up to date with the competitive technology changes.
That's all of this episode of Stratazine. Coming up in our next episode, the topic will be the effects of social media usage time on mental health, finding a healthy balance.
Thanks for tuning in today on Stratazine.
You can find links and attributions to everything from today's podcast in the credits and the show notes. Have a great day.